Patricia Bennett was brought up in children's homes in England and suffered much abuse and deprivation. And now through her books and speaking engagements, Tricia is bringing hope and encouragement to those who are hurting worldwide.
All I ever knew was being brought up in children's homes. Me and my three brothers didn't feel we were wanted there. I used to rock myself to sleep crying for a mummy, and I was sexually abused. I used to actually kneel in the graveyard and beg God to die. And I didn't want heaven and I didn't want hell, I just wanted oblivion. And it culminated at 17 years old with me attempting suicide.
Tricia herself was brought up in a children's home in the UK and has a heart for orphans. She is in high demand for her talks of all sorts of groups, including ladies' groups like ours. Her talks are witty and inspirational, and as you'll learn, tears are often mingled with laughter.
Well, we married 3 years later, and it was a huge, great Baptist church, and there was a massive, long bit for me to walk down, and the pastor went up to John and said, "I'm really sorry, but we've got to cancel the day." And he said, "Why?" He said, "We can't get her out the car. She's so paralyzed with fear." Well, one of the elders of the church said, "I've got the answer. I've got a son who's got a skateboard. I'll go and get it. We can pop her on the skateboard and just whiz her straight down the aisle." So I waited in the car, unable to move anyway, while they went in search of the skateboard. They couldn't find it, so the elders carried me with my legs dangling and put a chair, and I sat with my head between my legs, only coming up for fresh air and to say, "I do." Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for having me here. And tonight you're going to hear just a little bit of my story. Well, I'd like to tell you what motivated me to write this book, Polly Brown. Now, this is a novel, but I have actually used a few of my own real circumstances in it, and it's about a young girl who goes on an extraordinary journey. She's in an orphanage, and she's got no hope, and it was just like me as a child. I felt like I had no hope. I was sexually abused, I was psychologically abused, I was physically abused, and my whole childhood was spent in great despair. Sadly, my eldest brother didn't make it. In my teens, I attempted suicide twice. And I realized something, that if I could, through my writing, influence this generation to reach out to the needy and the lost and those with no hope, that I would be doing something amazing. And out of the ashes of my own broken life, I could use finances to fund orphanages, to help kids that can't afford school. I've gone into schools and read to the kids, read from the book and talked about my own life and how I came from ashes. And they've written letters to me saying how inspired they are. And some of them will say things like, "I had no hope until I heard you." But what I've done is I've shown in this novel my own helplessness and hopelessness. And through it, when she goes on the journey, it's a journey of self-discovery. It's a journey that actually suggests that beauty is an inner thing. It's a journey that suggests that our greatest joy comes from helping others. And people tell me every day it's the most touching story they've ever read. And I believe we all have a responsibility to look outside of ourselves and think, what can we do to touch and reach into the lives of others? Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. God bless and good night. Hi there, my name's Patricia Bennett, and I came to America 2 years ago from England. I have a remarkable story, and I'm an author as well. I give talks everywhere, and people are always saying, "You should be on television. People need to hear your story." So I'm here today asking you to consider having me on your show. You won't regret it. I have a big fan base already, and my story is very, very, very unique. So please get in contact with me. You won't regret it. Thank you very much for hearing me. But one thing I need to tell you, ladies, looking at you now, You need to go from here and get that glam photo taken if you haven't already had it done. Now look, I don't want to say too much, but some of you have left it a little bit too late, but there is a place in the villages, seriously ladies, where they will fill in the cracks, all right, before they take the photo. Now, why do you need the glam photo, you may well ask. I need to tell you why. Because one day, when you're in an old folks' home, you need that glam photo above the bed so that when the doctors are giving you the enema and all whatever, they will know that you were once a cute chick. Now, it's no use saying you've still got a few years before you do it. Because, ladies, one day you're out on the golf course, the next you're lying in a bed, warts and whiskers, Zimmer frame by your side, and a catheter strapped to your ankle. You've got to get it done now, girls. Really, you have. And for those of you who say, well, that's all right, I'm not going to an old people's home, my kids are going to look after me. Think about this. My kids said, Mum, we'll look after you. I said, no way, because I know one word, payback. Yes, ladies, payback. You never know. You think you've raised them fine, you've done everything for them, and there you are, an old toothless biddy, and they suddenly tell you you never let them go to ballet class. Or you didn't turn up at enough football matches, so there's no way I'm going to let mine look after me. In fact, what I've actually said is I really need the sort of old people's home where they take you out, where there's a bit of bingo, and I've got to have one where there's karaoke. All right. But since I've come here, I've realised I'll have to go back to England to go to a retirement home because there's no way I'm going to learn pickleball at this age of my life. Seriously, there isn't.